WS proxy along with server-side JavaScript in SFMC. Okay, so let's begin. So a quick introduction about myself. Myself Prithviraj. Okay, I have been working with SFMC for the last 4 years. So that's pretty much about myself. So now let's move on to the first slide. Okay, so what is WS proxy and why we should be using WS proxy? Okay, so WS proxy actually has some advantages over server-side JavaScript and AMP-script, being that it's very simple to use. Okay, it's also the code size is very less. Okay, and it has some means like advantages. Okay, let's go through it. So it is simpler to use. Okay, it's very simple to use. If you go through the code, you will understand. And it reduces overhead and increases the speed. Okay, and maintains the internal security level. Okay, maintaining the same internal security level. The security is maintained as it is being authenticated via the platform. Okay, so if you are familiar with server-side JavaScript or AMP-script, you might know that we might have to use authentication. Okay, get the auth token, and then we have to pass the client ID, client secret, and all those, and then only we can retrieve information or do perform some activities. Okay, but in WS proxy, that is taken care by the platform itself. Okay, so which makes it very simple to use, and we don't need to bother about those things as that is being taken care by the platform itself. Okay, and also what kind of activities we can perform using WS proxy? We can let's say we want to retrieve the list of data extensions in a business unit. We can do that using WS proxy. Let's say we want to unsubscribe a user from SFMC. We can do that using WS proxy. So this kind of activities we can perform using WS proxy. Okay, so coming to our second slide. Okay, let's look at the fundamentals of how to use WS proxy. Okay, so first of all, we have this we have to initialize, or you can say create a new object of the WS proxy with the new keyword. Okay, so you use new, and then you use WS proxy, and then you get this variable, and then you can use it. Okay, so once you have this, you can set client ID. So set client ID with this function. You can let's say you want to retrieve data, all the list of data extension from a child business unit. You are in the parent business unit and you want to retrieve data for some other business unit. You can do that. You can set the MID and user ID, and you can pull that data. Okay, but one thing to note here, if you are in a child business unit, you cannot pull that data from the parent business unit. Okay, you must be in the parent business unit to do that. You can set some properties. Okay, what are the column names you want to retrieve, or what are the things what are the properties of the function you want to pass. So those things you can mention over here. Okay, like for example, if it's you are retrieving the data extension details, so you want the name, you want the customer key, you want what is sendable or not sendable, all this information you mentioned that in this variable. And then you can use filter method, filter variable. Okay, so you can filter out your data. Let's say you don't want to pull all the data extension from Marketing Cloud, but rather only a data extension with a particular customer key or a particular name. Okay, so you can do that kind of filtering using this kind of, you set the property and equals, and then the value, you provide the value over there, and you can filter out the data. You can also use complex filters. Okay, so simple filters you can use, but you can also use complex filters. Okay, so you give that there is an OR operator, so either the customer key equals this or the name equals like this, and you can, in either of the case, the data will get retrieved. Okay, so you can use this kind of complex filtering as well. So some most commonly used methods in WS proxy. Okay, so create item, you can create a data extension or maybe a automation using WS proxy. You can retrieve some data. Okay, let's say you want to, as I've told, you can retrieve the list of data extensions. Okay, so or maybe the list of all the emails. What are the emails in a particular business unit? You can retrieve that. You can retrieve some tracking data. Okay, so whatever is in the SOAP objects, you can go through the SOAP objects, whatever, and then those things you can utilize using the WS proxy. Okay, and you can go through the SOAP object and SOAP method, and you will from the documentation of Salesforce Marketing Cloud, and you will get an idea of what are the things we can retrieve, and also what are the fields. Okay, so for example, in a data extension, what are the properties that are available, so you can get that information from there. Okay, you can also delete items. So you can, for example, you want to delete a data extension with a particular name from a business unit. Okay, so you can do that. Also execute. Okay, how well, let's say you want to unsubscribe, which we will see in a later slide. Okay, we can unsubscribe a particular user from a let's say a business unit. Okay, we can unsubscribe from all subscribers. Okay, using this execute function. Okay, so create first is we can create a data extension. Okay, so we mention all the properties you want in the data extension. Okay, so this variable, if you notice, it has the name the name you want to assign to that data extension, the customer key. Here the customer key is the GUID, which is auto generated by this function. Okay, kind of a random number. Okay, the description, the field names. Okay, so one field is this one. Okay, so this is the field name is ID, another field is name. Okay, so these are the kind of, in a database you have table and columns, so kind of that. Here in data extension you have fields, and you can define the field names, and then the moment you invoke this create item function, it will create a data extension in your system. Okay, now retrieve via WS proxy. So let's say you want to retrieve a particular data extension. In this case, it will retrieve all the data extensions in the first page. Okay, so in SFMC you might have multiple data extensions, so that can be in the form of pages. Let's say in the first page you have 10 data extensions, in the second page you have more 10 data extensions. So this actually this will retrieve the first 10 for example, or first page data extensions. Okay, all the first page, how many data extensions are there, it will retrieve that. So you are defining the properties what you want to retrieve. Okay, for example, the data extension name, that customer key, the customer ID is sendable, and then you are just retrieving function, and this will retrieve all the data extension. Okay, so this actually you can filter. Okay, in the next slide you see filter the list of, for example, you want to retrieve the data extension with a particular customer key. Okay, only for that data extension information. So you can do that using this filter. Okay, some advanced retrieves, as I have told you. Okay, earlier you are getting the data for only the first page. Okay, so if you consider as pagination, only the first set of data extensions you are retrieving for. But for example, you need the data extensions for an entire business unit. In that case, you have something. Okay, so you have this get next batch. So what this will do, it will kind of give you the next set of data extension information. In this case, if you see this code, we are fetching the emails. Okay, the email names, all the emails which are present in a business unit, you are, or an account, you are pulling all that information. Okay, so while true, you are what you are doing, you are retrieving the data. So initially request ID is null, so proxy dot retrieve, this will retrieve that information for you. Okay, so first of all you will have the data. okay, because it's null. So this is a ternary operator, so you will get the proxy.retrieve and you will get the first data, okay, first batch of data. Then now data is not null, so it will enter over here, and more data has more rows, so this will check, okay, that if more data is available, so this will be true, so this will be set to true and the loop will go on, okay. And you get a data.request id. Here you get the request id. So now you for the first time you don't have a request id, so which is null, okay. So you this is run, which is proxy.retrieve for the first time, but the second time when it is run, you have a request id in place, okay. So the next time it runs, so it will this function will run, which is proxy.get next batch. So you will get the next batch of data, the next batch of information, okay. And here you are actually printing that information. So if data and data results, okay, then in a for loop you are actually looping through the data dot results, and you are printing all the names of the emails that are present in SFMC, okay. So and this will continue until there this more data turns into false and there is no more data available, okay. So this is it. So this is kind of will give you the entire data, let's say for a account or a business unit. You can pull all the records, all the data extension list, all the automation list, and you will get a JSON, okay. You will get kind of a JSON payload, so you can convert that into CSV or whatever format, and then you can share that, okay. So you can use any tool or maybe any script in order to convert that JSON to CSV or Excel as the need might arise, okay. So retrieve status of automation, okay. So you can retrieve the status of an automation, okay. So for example, you want to retrieve the, you provide the automation name and you want to retrieve the status. What you want to retrieve? You are specifying the property that you want to retrieve the status of this particular automation, and you are providing a filter. What's the filter? Where the name equals, and you provide this automation name, okay. So you are getting the status and you are printing it, so you can do that as well. Now coming to this, so basically what we are doing, just to give you an idea, we are what we want to unsubscribe a user from a business unit, okay, for example. So if you notice, the SOAP envelope can also, if you can pass this payload, even this will work and a particular user will get unsubscribed. But what has been noticed is this takes significant amount of this might run a bit slow, okay, then WS proxy, okay. And if you provide this in the cloud page, for example, the size of code is also huge. So in that case, WS proxy has some advantage. And how we perform it using WS proxy? So here it's an XML, right? So you give the parameters, like, see, we are mentioning that it's a log unsub event. You are putting the parameters like subscriber ID is this, subscriber key is this, email address is this, job ID is this, and all this. And you are asking after the authentication, you are asking that please unsubscribe this user, okay. So that thing you can do it using WS proxy, but the code size is also reduced, okay. So props, you are passing the same thing but in a different way, like in a JSON body, okay. So you are passing the subscriber key is this, job ID is this, list ID is this, and please unsubscribe, okay. So the moment proxy.execute is executed with the log unsub event, which is something similar over here. So you are calling the log unsub event and you are executing that, and the moment this is called, that user will get unsubscribed from this particular business unit. If you set a particular business unit, okay, so this is optional. If you set it, then for that particular MID, this will the user will get unsubscribed, okay. So if you see, this is much simpler and faster also, okay. So that's it with WS proxy. So hope you like this video, so and found it valuable. So thanks for watching.